difference with LUNTHA television, where innovation meets experience. Authenticated team, backed by cutting-edge technology, ensures seamless execution and unparalleled results. LUNTHA guarantees credibility and professionalism in all its endeavors and services. We offer, among this, production and broadcasting of jingles, music videos, narratives, documentaries, press services and programs on location or outside, live broadcasting of mass and other church functions, government or indoor functions, and political rallies, creation and broadcasting of special programs, sponsored content, sports and entertainment, and advertising for small, medium and large enterprises. All services are offered at competitive prices. Tune in daily to catch LUNTHA television on Zuko on Channel 51, Starsat Channel 474, Star Times Channel 474, Topstar 474, Kriye 007, GoTV on Channel 807, Azam on Channel 386, and live streams on our YouTube and Facebook platforms. You can find us in Area 2 Lilongwe or can reach us on 0883 815 055. Come, let us help you grow your business.
You're watching LUNTHA TV and it's time for our 7:30 news bulletin. Today with me, Tandy Wimsamara. Let's have a look at our top stories. Pope Francis calls for humble and synodal church led by the Holy Spirit. Oxfam decries rise in child abuse as setback to gender-based violence elimination. Association of Persons with Albinism in Malawi set to launch strategic plan in a bid to empower members. And in other news, Tanzania news sites banned over animation deemed critical of president. We do have the details to these stories and more to stay with us. Pope Francis, at the opening of the second session of the 16th General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops, emphasized the need for a humble and synodal church guided by the Holy Spirit to fulfill its mission of peace and forgiveness in the world. In his address, the Pope reflected on the journey of the Church since the Synod's inception in 2021, and he reminded the participants that the Church is constantly on a journey, one that mirrors the mission God has set before his people since the time of the Apostles, stressing that the mission of the Church is to bring peace through the proclamation of Jesus Christ. We have more details in this Vatican News report read by Bernard Manza.
Reflecting on the role of the Holy Spirit, the Pope recalled that the Holy Spirit bends the stubborn heart and will, melts the frozen, warms the chill, and guides the steps that go astray. He emphasized that the Spirit is ever present, especially in moments of sorrow and despair, when humanity is faced with the temptations of hopelessness and division. Pope Francis then went on to speak of the humility required to recognize our own need for forgiveness. He referenced the penitential vigil that took place Tuesday night, where those gathered experienced the grace of reconciliation. Speaking then of the synodal process, Pope Francis said that it is not just a momentary event, but a continuous journey, one in which the Church learns to better understand herself and discern the most effective ways to carry out her mission. He described the Synodal Assembly as a plural subject where bishops, lay people, priests and consecrated men and women work together in service to God's mercy. Highlighting the significance of lay participation in the synodal process, Pope Francis explained that the presence of lay members in the assembly does not diminish the authority of bishops. Rather, it strengthens the Church's relational nature, emphasizing the need for collaboration. Bringing his address to a close, Pope Francis called for all participants to remain open to the action of the Holy Spirit, who he described as the Church's sure guide and comforter.
Police in Lilongwe have arrested a 27-year-old woman for allegedly burning her 6-year-old daughter's private parts, tying and locking her up in a house after severe torture at Mtandire in Lilongwe. According to reports, the acts were meant as a punishment for the daughter as she wet the bed and ate last night's leftover relish. The suspect, identified as Abata Makondeta, will soon appear before court to answer a case for acts intended to cause grievous harm, according to Lingazi Police spokesperson Maria Kumwenda. Robert Edward has filed this report.
Police report indicates that after the abuse, the woman instructed the victim, her daughter, to be telling people that her bruises on the body are due to witchcraft acts. However, after a tip from well-wishers, Ringad's police established that the 27-year-old mother had tied her daughter to the rope before burning her private parts as a punishment for urinating on the bed and eating yesterday's meal leftovers relish. Spokesperson for Ringad's police in Lilongwe, Maria Kumwenda, told LUNTHA television that the suspect told the victim never to reveal the ordeal to anyone.
Linga's police station is keeping in a rough custody a 27-year-old woman for physically abusing her own daughter at Ntandiri. It is reported that on 3 October 2024, the station received a report from well-wishers claiming that the suspect has been living with her daughter, Ntandiri. And since August 2024, the suspect has been abusing her daughter severely, reaching the point of burning her daughter's private parts and whipped her severely because of wetting her bed and eating the relish that was part of the last night's leftovers. After noticing the harm she caused on her daughter, the suspect tied her daughter's hands with a rope, locked her up in the house, and warned her not to conceal the truth to anyone. The suspect, who is her mother, instructed the victim to tell people that she was a victim of witchcraft. Anyone questioned her about the bruises on her body, the victim should tell people that she fell from her witchcraft act. The suspect is in police custody and is expecting to appear to court soon to answer a case of acts intended to cause grievous harm.
The suspect, Apata Makondeta, who hails from Kumula Village, Traditional Authority Nazombe of Palombe District, will appear in court shortly to answer acts to cause grievous harm charge. For LUNTHA, this is Robert Edward.
On a related issue, Oxfam Country Director Lingalire Nimihoa has called the resurgence of child abuse cases in the country unfortunate, describing them as a setback to efforts aimed at eliminating gender-based violence. Mihoa's comments came in response to recent reports of child abuse, including a disturbing case in Mtandire, Lilongwe, where a mother has burnt her daughter's private parts and hands. Rashida Matandika has more details.
On Wednesday, a woman was arrested in Chiradzulu district for brutally beating her 5-year-old child while binding her in a bag. The following day, another woman was apprehended in Ntandire, Lilongwe, for burning her 6-year-old daughter's private parts and hands as punishment for urinating on her sleeping mat and stealing. These incidents are just a few examples that have shocked the nation, and according to Lingalire Mihoa, Country Director at Oxfam, Malawi, the country needs to reflect on these issues. Mihoa pointed out that the society may have weakened its social protection systems for children, the elderly, and other vulnerable groups. She stressed the importance of holding perpetrators accountable so that they understand the consequences of their actions, while also calling for increased awareness campaigns led by religious and traditional leaders against such abuses. However, Mihoa noted that while this behavior cannot be condoned, it is crucial to investigate the mental health of the offenders, as some parents and guardians may be coming from stressful home environments.
I mean, the way we treat our children is a reflection of who we are as a nation, people say, and we need to be able to reflect, because young people are looking up to us for protection. They are helpless in many cases, and to subject young children to the kind of abuse that we have seen should be condemned in the strongest terms possible, and those that have committed such crimes should be brought to book. There are many things that could be attributed to this. One, it's the fact that the society has let loose on its social protection systems for the elderly, for the children, and even for women and men that find themselves to be weaker in some situations.
Mihoa also emphasized the need to adequately resource the Ministry of Gender and the Departments of Child Protection to ensure they can effectively respond to these cases without difficulties. The woman who burnt her 6-year-old child in Lilongwe warned the child not to speak to anyone about the abuse and instructed her to say that she had been caught during one of her witchcraft trips. This behavior is also considered a form of mental abuse toward the child. Rashida Matandika, LUNTHA TV, Balaka.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has assured that Malawians residing in Israel are safe despite the escalating tensions between Israel and Iran. According to Charles Kalamba, spokesperson for the ministry, the Malawian embassy in Tel Aviv remains in close contact with Malawian citizens in Israel through social media and a 24-hour helpline. Emmanuel Shuocha has more details on this report.
The conflict between Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, and other territorial organizations has been going on for approximately a year, with thousands of missiles being fired into Israel daily from various regions. Fortunately, no Malawians has been injured or affected by the ongoing conflict. The Israel government has taken extra precaution to ensure public safety, providing shelters for people to seek refuge in case of emergencies. Malawians in Israel are advised to remain vigilant as the Israel government issues phone alerts and sirens to warn of incoming missiles. In a recent incident, Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles towards Israel, but the Israel military successfully intercepted most of them. This attack is part of a larger escalation of tension between Israel and Iran, which began in April 2024. The conflict has seen various countries intervene, with the United States, United Kingdom, France, and Jordan providing support to Israel. Syria has also shot down Israel interceptors, while Iranian proxies in the region continues to attack Israel. The Israel embassy in Damascus was bombed on April 1, 2024, killing multiple senior Iranian officials. This incident sparked a series of retaliatory strikes, including the seizure of an Israel-linked ship, MACC Ares, and strike inside Israel. The situation remained volatile, with fears of the regional war growing. The international community is closely monitoring the situation, with many calling for a de-escalation. For LUNTHA News, this is Emmanuel Juocha.
The Association of Persons with Albinism in Malawi, APAM, is preparing to launch a 5-year strategic plan aimed at equipping its members with various advocacy skills to defend their human rights. Following a stakeholders meeting held in Lilongwe today, the association's president, Yang Muhamba, informed the media that the plan will be aligned with the country's broader goals, particularly focusing on universal health and education, among others. Jacqueline Saidi is reading this report.
The association has been operating under an outdated strategic plan that has not fully addressed the needs of its members, particularly regarding their rights. According to APAM President Yang Muhamba, the new plan will provide members with advocacy skills to better defend their human rights and strengthen the overall capacity of the association.
The strategic plan is our roadmap in terms of how we are going to move as an association in implementing our various programs. We had an initial strategic plan which was running from 2018 to 2022 and it expired. So we had to sit down and look at the way that we have gone so far and the challenges that we faced as an association and the way forward, incorporating in some emerging issues that have come on the way. So the strategic plan is very important. This particular one is very important, and that is why we have been able to bring together various stakeholders to ensure that we include their input.
Chief Disability Affairs Officer in the Ministry of Gender, Joshua Mkwehiwa, praised the association's decision, stating that it reflects growth and progress in their operations. He also assured the Ministry of Gender's full support, particularly from the Department of Disability.
I would like to congratulate APAM for coming up with a new strategic plan. We all know that strategic plans are there to guide the work and operations of any organization or institution. So APAM was an institution that advocates for the rights of persons with albinism. What they have done is very much commendable because they would want to be organized.
APAM remains dedicated to advocating for the rights and protection of its members, a minority group that has faced brutal killings and various forms of abuse in the past years. For LUNTHA Television, this is Jacqueline Saidi.
You're still watching news today with me, Tandi Wimsamara. Before we proceed, let's have another look at the headlines. Pope Francis calls for humble and synodal church led by the Holy Spirit. Oxfam decries rise in child abuse as setback to gender-based violence elimination. Association of Persons with Albinism in Malawi set to launch strategic plan in a bid to empower members. And in other news, Tanzania news sites banned over animation deemed critical of president. Proceeding with the news, the Ministry of Education has applauded schools under Galolo Zone onto the Echo Star School Project, a collaborative project by Educans Foundation and the Catholic Church's Diocese of Lilongwe. This project aims to foster sustainable livelihoods and advance education for students in primary schools. Fales Chizombe has filed this report.
At a recent workshop of head teachers and payers that took place at Ndevu Primary School, the head teacher at Ndevu Primary School, Moses Kaludu, applauded the EcoStar project, stating that it has boosted students' academic performance since they can now do practicals. He further emphasized that the project plays a crucial role in students' academics as they relate to class lessons such as environment conservation. The students have learned the importance of growing trees and lawns to avoid soil erosion.
We have a number of projects and interventions. Still have a major project of pig garden, which is keeping of pigs. We also have a project whereby we are looking at the growing of vegetables. We also have a project where we are looking at the conservation of the environment, where we plan to preserve soil erosion and the planting of different species of trees.
Chris Miti, Education Coordinator for the Archdiocese of Lilongwe, also commented on the project's contribution to education. She expressed happiness with the project's progress, noting that schools have harvested 3 times in their gardens and successively planted different trees and undertaken pig farming. She encouraged other schools in the Kalolo zone not part of the project to learn from participating schools to improve their academics.
We can say there are some challenges, there are some strengths which we have seen in some of the schools, like here at Ndevu. We have seen that the pig garden is going on well. Even though they started with 3 pigs, they still having 4 up to now, but we still think that it is going to grow. While the vegetable garden, vegetables in the vegetable garden.
Concurring with Miti, Daniel Mumba, District Coordinating Education Advisor Officer for Lilongwe Lulo West, stated that the Eco-Star projects in schools are helping a lot. He said students are learning to do different food works like pig farming and making vegetable gardens. By Mumba.
Important in terms of that learners in that schools are able to learn more things about the project. They have a lot of activities which are doing in these schools. One of them is maybe having a vegetable garden. They also have fruit trees, that's an orchard. They're also keeping some pigs. So learners are doing some practical work in all these areas. And again, after seeing some of the products from these activities, they also get money to assist the school in the same activities, maybe buying Israeli materials or assisting learners who are vulnerable. So the project is so important to our schools and to district as well.
Increased awareness of environmental importance, development of sustainable livelihood skills, enhanced student engagement and participations. The project was implemented in various primary schools to help learners appreciate the environment by planting trees, creating vegetable gardens, and more.
The Center for Community Organization and Development, CCOD, has encouraged communities to demand the development of their choice no matter where the funding is coming from, because it instills the spirit of ownership and protection. The remarks were made earlier today by CCOD Advocacy and Community Engagement Officer Mazio Konje during a media tour aimed at showcasing innovative community-led infrastructure in Imtandire area of Lilongwe. Under its Climate Resilient Communities program, CCOD is constructing 2 road culverts and a drainage system in Imtandire, interventions that are designed to mitigate the flash flooding that the community has been experiencing, especially during the rainy season. We have more details on this report read by Jacqueline Saidi.
Through the Community Infrastructure Project, CCOD is helping communities construct infrastructure that is resilient to climate shocks. With a history of flash floods, CCOD supports in the construction of road culverts in a way of motivating the challenges and provide communities with a conducive environment to continue with their lives even during the rainy season. Advocacy and Community Engagement Officer at CCOD, Mazio Konje, said they are working hand in hand with the communities, encouraging them to fully participate in the projects by contributing material in kind or financially.
The idea is to reduce the impact of the flash floods. At the same time, we are also trying to incorporate the communities to be in the forefront of development.
Expressing his gratitude to SICOT, Group Village Headman Mtirila said that their remaining role is to oversee that the development is well protected. In her remarks, Deputy Mayor of Lilongwe City, Councillor Ruth Chingwaru Njirayafa, said that they have empowered communities to demand the development of their choice, no matter where the funding is coming from, because it instills the spirit of ownership and protection.
I'll tell the community to take care for this project, as we had a problem with the crossing here, and I'll tell them not to put some waste here in the drainage, so that we will end up going back to the problem we had before.
The project is being done with support from DESWAS, Saites Alliance, and Slum Dwellers Interactions.
The state has one last witness to parade in the case involving two Rwandan nationals, Giamata Gentile and Rafik Mangamagai, who are suspected to have had a hand in the death of Gentile's ex-husband Noah Emily Habimana. Director of Criminal Litigation in the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, Zigondiatu Malunda, has told LUNTHA Television that the charge for the two is that they caused Habimana's death on the 17th of October 2022 by conniving following the disagreements on property sharing after divorce between the victim and his ex-wife Gentile. High Court Judge Bruno Kalimba has since adjourned the matter to the 17th of October 2024 for the state to parade its last witness, who is the police investigator. Robert Edward caught up with Malunda.
Of Republic versus Giamata Gentile and Rafik Munyamagaju came for further hearing of the state's witnesses. The state paraded two witnesses. The first one was Mr. Sifo Nyasuru, who at the material time was Director of Administration. The witness basically testified in court and demonstrated that Mr. Banda, the one who conducted the first post-mortem, was at the material time posted to Mzuzu Central Hospital and was not supposed to be conducting any business at Kamuzu Central Hospital. The second one was Sergeant Kambeta, who attended to the scene of the alleged accident for the first time. So he testified about his experiences, what he found at the scene, and also the statements that he recorded from the driver, Mr. Rafiki Munyamagaju. Now the matter has been adjourned to the 17th of October 2024 to allow the state to parade its last witness, who is the investigator in this matter. So far we've paraded 9 witnesses, and we expect to close our case by the next 10th witness. We are happy with the progress in terms of forming an opinion as to guilt or not. That's up to the court. We always leave it to the court. But for us, our comment really is about the progress. We are happy with the progress that it has taken, and we hope the matter will be completed in good time, because that is what we are always of the view that the interest of justice is.
Now, in other news, 3 of Tanzania's leading newspapers have been banned from publishing their online editions after they ran an animation deemed critical of President Samia Suluhu Hassan. The Citizen, Mwananchi, and Mwanaspoti newspapers have had their online licenses suspended for 30 days over the viral animated clip, which has since been removed. We have more details on this BBC News Africa report read by Bernard Wanza.
The clip, just over a minute long, published by the Citizen on social media, highlighted the increasing cases of abductions and disappearances in the country. The media regulator said the content threatens and is likely to affect and harm national unity and social peace of the United Republic of Tanzania. Wednesday's ban affects all websites, social media and YouTube platforms of the 3 newspapers, all run by Mwananchi Communication Limited. The viral animation by the Citizen, which authorities said violated the country's online communication laws, was published on Tuesday. Mpoki Thompson, the Citizen's managing editor, said the animation depicted events that raised concerns regarding the safety and security of individuals in Tanzania. The animation was taken down a few hours later due to what the newspaper termed misinterpretation by the public. In a statement on Wednesday, the Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority said the audio-video content violated the Electronic and Postal Communications Regulations of 2020. The suspension prevents the outlets from publishing any content online, while further regulatory actions are under review. Rights groups and opposition parties have condemned the ban, describing it as a move to muzzle the media.
That also brings us to the end of what we had for you in this edition of our news bulletin. But before we leave, here's a reminder of our top stories. Pope Francis calls for humble and synodal church led by the Holy Spirit. Oxfam decries rise in child abuse as setback to gender-based violence elimination. Association of Persons with Albinism in Malawi set to launch strategic plan in a bid to empower members. And in other news, Tanzania news sites banned over animation deemed critical of president. My name is Tandy Wemzumara. Thank you for keeping me company and continue following the rest of our programs right here on LUNTHA TV. Goodbye for now and do stay safe.